my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps. My co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it is a Patreon pick, and it's the amazing Mr. Kent Gustafsson, and he has chosen a movie that I have never seen. I think you hadn't seen at the time. It's from 1999. It's directed by Mr. David Lynch, and it is called The Straight Story. So I know I've alluded to that, Dave, but had you even heard of this before Kent had picked it?
Never, ever. If I think of 1999, I think of The Matrix, I think of The Phantom Menace. This just never appeared on my radar at all. And when I had a little back and forth with Ken, and he was saying, I know this isn't really your thing, but I'm like, it's your choice, mate. Go, let's do it, you know. And some of the little gems that our Patreons have picked for us have been a lot of fun, haven't they, you know, in recent times. So we went with it, and letting you peek a little bit at my cards, I'm glad he chose that one, Chris. I mean, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I've never heard of it. I didn't know what it was, to be honest. I'll be honest, I thought it was some sort of sexual movie, you know, some sort of like coming of age thing. No, I don't mean that. What choice of words. I mean,
a Rudy movie, a bit of a Bluey.
Some context, The Straight Story. I thought it was some sort of like some kid was fighting with the sexuality, but they were gay. You know, like that, something like that. Some sort of coming of age movie. Just because of the name, that's not me trying to be horrible. Obviously, it's based on a true story. Alvin Straight is the character, and he actually in real life, in 94, travelled from Iowa to Wisconsin on a lawnmower to see his brother. So it's based on a true story. So, I got that completely wrong, Dave.
You know, they say to a hammer, everything is a nail. And, you know, so if there's a possible link to a Bluey or Lauren Avedon.
yeah, I'm there, Dave. I'm there. You've got to get it while you can. But no, I didn't know anything about it. And I'm with you. There's such a good backstory to this whole movie. I just can't believe I've never even heard of it. I'm not saying I would have watched it, but just not knowing about it and the critical success that it had is pretty blown away, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, you did say you might actually quite like this one, with it being, you know, based on a true story and having a rich backstory to it. And so it wasn't like, you know, we didn't come in thinking we were going to give it all guns blazing, but I'm struggling to talk about it without talking about it. So should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
This morning you fall and you can't get off the floor. That's your hips, Alvin. And you're going to have to use a walker now to get around.
No walker. I love a lightning storm.
Me too, Dad. Uncle Al, I had a stroke.
Rose, darling, I'm going to go back on the road. And I've got to make this trip on my own. I've got to go see Lyle. I know you understand.
Alvin, you're going to get blown right off the road. That's what I'm afraid.
Mount Zion, Wisconsin? Why didn't you just take your car?
I don't have a driver's license.
That's 60 more miles of hills.
That's across the Mississippi.
I'm having a little engine trouble.
You know, I'd be happy to drive you the rest of the way to Mount Zion.
I still want to finish this the way I started. And this trip is a hard swallow for my pride. I just hope I'm not too late. You've got two brothers that haven't spoken in 10 years. I want to make peace. I want want to sit with him, look up at the stars, like we used to do so long ago. Brothers and brothers.
In Lawrence, Iowa, Alvin Straight fails to show up at his regular bar meeting with friends and is eventually found laying on his kitchen floor. His daughter, Rose, takes her reluctant father to see a doctor, who sternly admonishes Alvin to give up tobacco and use his walking frame. Alvin refuses and instead opts to use 2 canes. Shortly after, Alvin learns that his brother Lyle has suffered a stroke. Longing to visit him, but unable to drive, Alvin develops a plan to travel 240 miles to Mount Zion in Wisconsin on his riding lawnmower, towing a small homemade travel trailer along the way. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Dave, you know what? That's the longest intro I think you've ever done for a movie, and it needs to be to explain what this is about. And that's not me being a bellend or anything. I'll be honest, when I watched this movie and the start of it, I was thinking, this is Channel 5 fucking family movie all day long, or in the 90s. Yeah. It was early 2000s. It's a Channel 4 job. You know, one of them sort of afternoons, this fuck all on telly. I got very nostalgic. Obviously, the one thing I like about this, researching it, is David Lynch shot this shot for shot. So there's no continuity stuff where you go, well, hang on, he's in, Wisconsin and he's in Iowa. The minute that tractor moves, he actually filmed it along the route of what Alvin had actually done.
Yeah, he filmed it in sequence, did he? So
in sequence,
lots of films are shot out of sequence, but this one, he did shoot it in sequence, and you can see the kind of the weather changing, like Alvin's beard growing and stuff. It's a great point. I found that really interesting as well.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? I'll be honest. I got quite emotional watching this because when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, say, going up to maybe about 15, 16, so I used to always go to my mum and dad's. Not going to go into the backstory, but basically they were like a sanctuary for me. So if things got too much at home, I'd go and spend like a week there, and stay with them or whatever. And one of the things my nan and granddad would do, they'd watch these oddball films that really, I didn't want to sit there, Dave. You know me, I wanted to watch fucking Arnie decapitate someone or Lethal Weapon or whatever. Or, one of them, to be fair, my granddad was the one who got me into The Godfather. He's still alive, thankfully. My nana isn't, unfortunately, my mum's mum, but my granddad's still alive. And he got me into The Godfather and the gangster movies because I watched them with him. And I remember this for me was like the DNA of movies I used to watch with them. They put it on, or they put a black and white movie on, 2:00 on Channel 4. And I've watched all that. I love like Singing in the Rain, Sam bought it me for Christmas on Blu-ray, completely the opposite of what I'm into, Dave, normally. But it reminds me so much of the nostalgia. I love that film. It was on at Christmas. I think I mentioned at some point I'm going to pick it. Definitely, but I love them old type movies, black and white with Laurel and Hardy, Norman Wisdom. But when it comes to these sort of serious ones, I'd be like, I don't want to watch it. But hand on heart, this is movies I've completely forgotten about. I've never talked about on the podcast. I genuinely was like, oh shit, this is like being 15, 16 years old, admitting to nobody that I've watched it, because there's no way my mates would be like, let me live it down that I'd watched some sort of, because it's almost like a coming of age movie, but for an older generation. And honestly, Dave, it's so much nostalgia, and love the fact that it goes through America. You know how much I love America. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed the start of it. Yeah, and it starts off like I want to say boring, but it's not the word I want to use. It just starts off in a very slow pace, doesn't it? And you're not sure what's gone on behind the window. When Alvin falls down, we find out a little bit later and stuff, and it just immerses you in this world, doesn't it? And it seems like quite a slow pace of life, and I must admit I couldn't put my finger on a precise movie. I couldn't say to you, it reminds me of watching this. But again, like yourself, watching something in the kind of 80s or 90s that's just a bit slower, and you end up sat there watching it, and you're like, this is not my sort of movie, this. But
you kind of need to know what happens. And so you just see it through. You know, you might never watch this thing again, but yeah, it gave me those feelings of nostalgia as well. But I must admit, when it first started off, though, I thought this is going to be a bit of a slog, this. But then you just find yourself pulled into this very human story. And yeah, I was drawn in more and more. And then by the end, I was really enjoying it, to be honest. And I think we're probably going to jump around a little bit, because in terms of a plot, that's it. I kind of explained it at the start. Basically, you know, Alvin's at his twilight years, and basically, you know, he's going to try and make this journey 240 miles to see his brother. You know, he'd had this like family feud. They hadn't spoken for years, and he wanted to go and make amends, but he's so fiercely independent. He won't accept lifts from anyone. He won't take public transport. He needs to do this for himself. And you know, the bit that really got me, Chris, was when he was talking to this other guy, and he said the problem with getting old is remembering when you was young. And I was like, wow, what a great line that is.
Yeah, I think I agree, Dave, actually, because I think Richard Farnsworth, who plays Alvin, a fantastic actor, Dave. He's 79 when he did this. And I think the way he delivers it, he's so personable. It's realistic, like when he's in the tractor. Obviously, when he first goes, he gets the tractor together, says he's going. All his friends are all like, you know, obviously ex-World War II veterans like him, or from his hometown. And they're like, you know, you're mad, what are you doing? And he's got this tractor, and they're sort of walking alongside the tractor as he's moving with it on the trailer. And it's just really heartwarming. I mean, like you say, the plot's pretty much The Littlest Hobo, isn't it? He sort of goes, wherever he goes, he seems to pick up somebody, doesn't he? And either they offer him a bit of wisdom, or he offers them a bit of wisdom, and there's some sort of interaction. It's very light-hearted. It's like a U, innit? Like, I mean, I remember Star Wars was a U years ago, you know, like below a PG, you know. There's just nothing. There's no nastiness to the movie. It's just a really, really good feel-good movie. And I think when he sets off, I'm sat there just like willing him to get there, Dave. Like thinking, I think that's what drags you on. You're right. The start of it is very daytime TV. You know, he's on the floor. Oh my God, let's go and see the doctor. You know, there's something wrong with him. Now, you'd said this, Dan. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but there's a reason behind him having them canes in there, which I find absolutely amazing, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's quite tragic, really, because Alvin Straight, you know, passed away. I think it was 3 years, so I can't remember if it was before or after this movie had released, but he passed away. But Richard Farnsworth, the actor, was terminally ill as well, so, you know, he basically had to use those canes, and you know, basically caused paralysis of his legs, you know, and so he was in a lot of pain. And the tragic thing is, you know, he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for this, and utterly deserved at least the nomination. I don't know what won it that year, but they must have been bloody good. But unfortunately, the year after, he was in so much pain, he ended up taking his own life. You know, so it's just really, really sad. But you know, that doesn't detract from what a performance this is from him. Yeah, really blown away when you read it, Dave. Again, it's that backstory that gets me. When there's a proper interesting facts, you know, it's just so tragic. You know, it's not something to sort of revel at all. But I just think his performance is fantastic. And I mean, I cannot believe, Dave, everyone who's listening has listened to us. Absolutely. You know, we've either slated some classics, we've watched Lauren Avedon kick ass, Dave, you know, whether people like it or not. He's still a legend. You know, we've had Burt Reynolds, you know, Hooper a few weeks ago. We had RoboCop, you know, so we've had a completely different... This is probably the most obscure movie we've done on the VHS for me. And I honestly thought, it's on for an hour and 50, and I thought, oh my God. And it hasn't got the VHS Strikes Back curse, guys, by the way, as well. We haven't found it on a subscription service and then it's been removed. It's on Amazon Prime. We both bought it, didn't we, on Amazon Prime. Really enjoyable. You can rent it as well, but it's just good. It's just heartwarming. And I think it doesn't feel like it's in 1999 to me, Dave. It feels like it's current, and that's a testament to the movie. It doesn't feel like it's 23 years ago at all. Yeah,
I think so. Did you recognise his daughter as well?
No.
So I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but Sissy Spake, I'm going to pronounce it that way. She was the girl in Carrie, the original Carrie. Well, Dave, you know I've never seen it. So. Oh, my word. Classic, but... well, there we go. There's another one that we're going to have to add to the list at some point to make you watch. It's very weird, actually. Some of it just doesn't date at all. But no, I tell you what, this did remind me of a little bit as well. So, couple of things. It's weird that a couple of weeks ago we did Hooper, which was about this kind of, Burt Reynolds, and he was in his midlife, wasn't he? But he was kind of having to face up to getting old. And I think even though, Alvin, he seemed, nice old guy and whatever, he's in his kind of twilight years. He was more in Hooper's father-in-law space, wasn't he? Yeah. And, Richard Farnsworth, he was a stuntman for like 30 years before he actually started acting. And then, he was about 50 or something when he started acting, and everyone's like, oh, who's this up-and-comer? He's like, I've been in the business for ages, So it's just interesting, you've got this other stuntman, who's dealing with getting old. Yeah, it completely wasn't planned at all, was it? Because it was the amazing Mr. Ken had picked this one. But yeah, you know what, Dave? It's just got layers to this movie, and I'd love to know what people think. People might, our normal listeners might be like, "What the hell is this?" But some might get it, and I think that's the whole point of the podcast, isn't it? This is a Patreon pick, something we would I've never even heard of it. We never ever would have picked it, and it's just nice. Like, he goes, the first thing in real interaction is he picks up a hitchhiker, this young girl. Mm-hmm. She's pregnant, realises she's run away. Alvin gives her a bit of knowledge about, bundles of sticks and blah, blah. It's hard to break. And he's sort of like giving her these analogies and different things, gives her these words of wisdom because he's obviously an old campaigner. And then the next morning, she's bundled up a load of sticks as if to say, I'm going home. And she goes. So it's like that. That's when I say the littlest hobo, it's all done tongue in cheek. It's not done like it's a rip-off, because it's not. It's just wherever he goes, he seems to leave a little bit of a footprint, doesn't he? Which makes people think and makes people a better person, I think, as well, it's really nice and really clever as well. So there's almost a bit of Hulk about it, the 70s TV show, where David Banner cunningly disguises his name and calls himself David Banyan or something like that. So as good a disguise as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I guess. Yeah. Old Ben. Yeah. Dressed up like a Jedi. Where are all the Jedis? Anyway, back to this one. I think one of the other bits I think that got me as well was when he was just having a beer and he's chatting to the other old boy there, and they're reminiscing a little bit about the war, World War II and that. And then he's telling this story where he's obviously shot his mate, essentially. And you get the impression he's not told that to anyone. And apart from this old boy, who he doesn't know, but he'd accidentally shot this guy, and the rest of his, I don't know what you call them, platoon or whatever, thought squadron had thought that a German sniper had got him, but he knows it was him. And I just think, that's not fucking funny. That's not a laughing moment. So he's kept that with him, and he's just in this moment, this quiet moment, just having a beer with the guy. He sort of relaying the story. I just thought that was another just really touching moment.
I wasn't laughing at you. I have a story. I wasn't laughing at you. Sorry. Yeah. I just finished out laughing. So I've got 2 stories about someone being shot off in the war. Right. So you're going to be right. So you're going to be like,
sounds like a cheery old subject.
Yeah. No. So one of my granddad's brothers, they're all in World War II. My granddad had gone to like India and that, were fighting and stuff like that, and one of his brothers had a finger missing. He had his big finger, the middle finger missing. So when we were kids, like, it was always this big thing about, like, he had it shot off in the war. But, you just didn't want to ask him. And my uncle was just, like, top guy, you know what I mean? Like, he was very approachable, Dave. It wasn't like one of the ones... Go on.
So he had his middle finger missing, and that's what you thought he had his... That was your first thought, he had his finger shot off. Didn't think of anything else.
No, but he did. It got shot off in World War II. It actually got shot, his finger, right? But what I was laughing at was another story, and I don't even know if this is even, this could be fucking Jimmy Savile
cancelled
telling this story. So I remember telling. So he's my uncle. He genuinely did have his. He only passed away a couple of years ago. He's in his 90s, and he did have his finger shot off. So, and he was always conscious of it, Dave. He'd always like have his hands sort of gripped together, and all that. Fuck, this is terrible. So when I was about 7 or 8, we went on holiday to Spain, right? And my nan and granddad came, my mum's mum and dad, so my granddad's still alive. And they were in Benidorm, and we were in Almeria. So there's about 150 miles away. So my nan and granddad were there for a few weeks. My nana was with her sister and her husband. So all 4 of them came down to see us. And they come to spend a couple of nights with us, right? So I started telling my granddad about me Uncle Norman, saying like he's had his finger chopped off, right? My granddad's from Belfast, proper broad Irish accent. He's like, all right. So the fucking about the next day or a day or so afterwards, we're all fucking around in the apartment, right? So me and our kid are there, and my granddad's having a wee, right? So we burst in, and he's like, get the fuck out of here, because he's having a wee, right? But as he's having a wee, we sort of ran in, and my brother went, what's happened to your willy, Granddad? He went, because we told the story, he went, it was been shot off in the war. Well, that was it for fucking years. We were like, he was shot off in the war. And I remember my nana smacking me on the head going, you idiot. He did it because you fucking telling him about your Uncle Norman, but he was like folk legend.
Oh, dear.
No, by the way, no children were harmed in the making of this story, Dave. No, but that's a genuine story. And for years we were like, used to tell him, he got shot off in the war.
Oh, dear.
My God, it was so bad.
Oh my God. You know what, Chris? I've got a story that is probably a bit of a parallel to this. And it does not paint me in a good light at all, to be honest. So... this is as an adult. Must have been before I met you. Must have been 2005-ish, I reckon. And I was working in Warrington, and so we were out for a Christmas do. And we've been drinking pretty much from midday. So it was a long one, and you're mixing everything, so you're having pints while you stood up at the bar and whatever, but then when you sat down having a meal and everything, you're drinking wine. A lethal cocktail, for me anyway. When I start mixing them like that, it's not a good thing. But I just remember, it was pitch black and freezing, and I set off. I just said bye to everyone, it must have been... 1 o'clock or something like that. No idea where anything is in Warrington. But I figured, you know what, I'm just going to set off walking in a direction, and at some point I'm going to come across something that looks like a town or something like that. So I set off walking in this straight line, right? Did I come across anything that resembled a town? did I fucking bollocks. I was walking for ages and fucking ages. And then I got to, like, the M62.
Oh, my God.
I was looking at the bridge. Can't remember which bridge it is now. And I was looking and I was thinking, could I walk over there? Because I was trying to walk back to Altrincham by then. I was just walking for half the night, and then I sort of started walking up to it, and I'm looking at all the cars, and it's like fucking 4 o'clock in the morning at this point or something. And I'm like, oh no, I should probably turn back. So I ended up turning back, and luckily, I think it must have been about 6 o'clock. I found a bus stop that took me back into Warrington Town Centre. So I'd spent all this time walking in a straight line trying to find something, and then got a bus to take me right back to where I started from, and then ended up getting a taxi back to Altrincham. I think I got back about 9:30. Mrs. wasn't happy.
I remember, this is damn railroad, you know when you say that. I remember we used to work up in Newcastle a lot, right? So we would go on a Thursday afternoon, and we'd go to, like, the Metro Centre or Eden Square, Eden Square, that's in bloody Eldon Square, and we used to install the big digital advertising panels and stuff. So sometimes you'd have to stay over, and sometimes we could do it in a night and then get back, because we got Friday off, so we were in our interest to sort of get home for like 2 o'clock, 3 in the morning, and you got the day off. So this one night, right, Dave, it was we'd got there about 3 o'clock, gone for something to eat, we install these units, gets about 10 o'clock. One of the lads, and we were done well early, and one of the lads is like, it was snowing, and the A1 was shut, right, on the way back, so far down. So I went, I'll drive, and he went, no, because I love driving, and then my mate's a good driver, he used to drive trucks, and he was like, and there was another lad in another van, right, this is no lie. It was fucking snowing like mad. We drove for an hour and a half and ended up at the same junction we started at because that took us the wrong way. Oh. We were running out of then we had to go across to, like, Hadrian's Wall, where you go across to the M6, and then we played these. My mate was going fucking loopy. He was fuming. It cost me about £10. I had to get him a fucking, like, double fucking shot of coffee or something, because he was driving for about 7 hours. I know it's not funny. Oh, man. I just sat there, like, fucking cowering in the fucking front seat, really pissing myself because he was fuming, because he was so mild-mannered. But he was like, you fucking dick, we've come there. And we were, like, going down country lanes, sliding in the van and everything. It was proper dodgy.
Fucking stressful as well, isn't it?
Oh, my God. Well, it was for him. It wasn't for me.
You were just having a little nap. Are we there yet?
I've seen this place before. Where are we? Yeah. Oh, he was fuming. He was I'll never forget that, Dave. It was so good. It was just a comedy. It was like one of them left. There. We've ended up at the same position. He was fuming with me. It was so funny. He always goes on about it, because I'm good with directions usually. He was fuming.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, now you've just got Google Maps on your phone or something. You can't get lost. I mean, when you're in a city or something, it gets a bit screwy. But when you're driving like that and you're on main roads, it's all pretty easy, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Sorry, I know of railroad. It's quite apt, really, because this is a road trip movie, isn't it, as such? So, but yeah, you, brilliant.
One of the bits which I found quite funny, I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but obviously he's lugging this massive trailer, and, you know, he'd shot his first effort, his first little tractor thing, or lawnmower, hadn't he?
Yeah.
It broke down, and then the second one, he's lugging this thing behind him, and he's going down the hill, but then he can't stop. There's no brakes, so he's kind of careering down this hill. It actually reminded me a bit of Dumb and Dumber. You know, it's like he's driving over the horizon. He's like, Harry! And he's got this little bike. But no, I thought that was pretty funny. But I'm pretty sure, you know, it's pretty terrifying if that reflected reality at all. It would have been a bit, you know, at that age, it would have been a bit scary.
Yeah, because it only went 5 miles an hour, so it looked like it'd gone to about 20 miles an hour, didn't it? He shot down the hill.
Shitting himself.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
You know,
he's played as this kind of sweet old man that he doesn't really want to trouble anyone, I think, in this film. But I bet in real life he was a stubborn old coot.
You said coot, Dave. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I thought that, but there's no way in these interactions he's not gone like, fuck you or whatever, leave me alone. I'm a fucking World War veteran or something. But I think it's so heartwarming watching this, and I think what he plays on a lot is human nature. And like how nice people. I mean, then when he goes down the hill, because he has a couple of mishaps. Obviously, he has to get rid of his other one and gets this new one at the start. Well, it's from '66, but it's a trade-in, and it's a better tractor. And then when it does go down the hill, the two mechanic brothers are there, and he's like, "That's a bit steep, innit?" He starts like bartering with them, doesn't he? And they're like, "Oh right, okay." And he gets them down there, and then tells them a story and all that. And it's heartwarming, isn't it? It is like real life. There's not like there's any. It feels to me like obviously David Lynch might have had a bit of freedom and stuff, obviously, but it just feels like it's told the exact story what happened, give or take a few scenes. It feels, even as a true story, you go, oh, based on a true story. It doesn't always mean it is, but this just felt like for me, it felt like we was watching it through Alvin's eyes all the way through. I just really enjoyed it, honestly.
Yeah, so the two mechanics there, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, they were actually the Farley brothers. So another little bit of tragedy associated with this movie. Chris Farley.
Yeah, he's died.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in it and unfortunately passed away. So his brothers made it into the movie, but he didn't. And I do think that was... played for a little bit of comedy, wasn't it? Not like laugh out loud, it's hilarious, but the way he's kind of tying him up in knots, essentially, you can't get one over on him. I really enjoyed that bit. Yeah,
definitely. And I think as well, when he goes to sort of like the last town, and it's like you say he has that pint with that guy, and then he actually, because he speaks originally, I don't drink beer, and he actually has a beer, doesn't he? He's like, where's Lyle's place? And he speaks to the guy, and it's his first drink for years, and he's directing, but he sort of pauses, doesn't he? He gets stuck on this road, and another tractor comes and sort of takes him off where he's going to go. He gets directions, but it's almost like he's afraid to go and see his brother. After all this journey, this whole release of emotion, and there's no real emotion from the actor. Richard Farnsworth, he's brilliant. There's not really any tears or anything. There's a bit, you can see the eyes are welling up a bit, but I just think he plays it so well. It's almost like when he was sat there on the tractor just by the roadside, it felt like, when you're going to have a fight with someone and your legs go and that adrenaline kicks in, doesn't it? And you're like, it's fucking you or me. Or, fucking 43, Dev. I've not had many fights for a few years, but you think, fucking hell, we're going to go here. Your bottle's going, or you go on a roller coaster, and that emotion comes out, and that's what I felt for him. I felt like he was thinking, I don't want to see him. We haven't spoke for 10 years. Is he going to be ill? Will he speak to me? I've come all this way. Is the payoff there? Yeah, I just thought it was a really, really clever bit of filmmaking.
Yeah, it was, and Christ, that ending was so emotional, wasn't it?
Yes.
When he sees his brother, it's like, fucking hell. Hardly any words spoken at all. And you can see his brother's looking... it's played by Harry Dean Stanton, isn't he?
Yeah.
He looks at his lawnmower and immediately, without saying anything, there's so much acting going on here. He knows what he's given up to be there. He's just gone through this stroke that he's had, and his brother, who's not spoke to for 10 years, has come across on a fucking lawnmower. And honestly, I proper choked me up that bit.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? When they always say less is more, and I've lived my life with less is more. I've told Sam that for years, Dave. You know what I mean? But less is always more. But it was just perfect. It was a perfect ending. It didn't need anything to it. Goes up into the stars, and it just ends so nice. And you know what? I must admit that I thought when he was waiting that bit before he got directed to his brother's house, and he was just sat there sort of composing himself, I sort of half expected his brother to be dead. I thought he'd get all that way and his brother had actually died, but it wasn't. He got that final whatever amount of time they got together, but he actually got that moment. So I thought it was really nice. I'm with you. It was a really lovely, lovely ending. And me and you sound like a completely different podcast this week. But
we do, don't we?
Ken, you seen Chris being nice and not shitting on everything, and you're so measured with what you're saying as always. But Kent's picked an absolute gem of a movie for me, Dave, and I will watch this again. I will watch this again 100%.
Yeah, me too. And I think the only other point I wanted to raise was about the woman who was commuting and kept running over all the fucking deers.
Yeah. She smacked it, didn't she? Yeah.
And the thing is, you've got this old codger, he's dropped everything. He's making this ridiculous journey, and nothing else matters. Just that journey is the only thing that matters to him. And yet daily, she's making this, I think she said 40-mile commute both ways, so 80 miles per day, and she keeps driving over all these deers, and she said, I love deers. Where do they come from? And again, I think this was played for comedy, because I did think it was quite funny, but also because you've got Alvin in his later years there, life is precious, and you just... To me, what I was saying was, you've got this woman, and she hates her life. She's wasting her life. She's doing this commute that she hates. She's constantly on a almost daily basis killing deers that she loves. And really, life is precious, and she shouldn't be wasting it like that.
Yeah, I think that and that's the message, isn't it, Dave? All around, because also I think what it shows is like now if someone prangs your car and stuff like that. I mean, that deer must have been like Clark Kent levels of strength, because the way it didn't hit the front of the car was like in Superman 1 when the taxi hits Clark Kent when he's with Lois, and it just bounces off him, doesn't it? But it's a hell of a dint the deer's made. But I think what it is as well, it's the immaterial stuff, Dave. We live by that, don't we? Someone pangs your car now, mine, yours, and touch what you do, you're like, you fucking wanker. But 2-3 years down the line, when you've changed your car or something, it's forgotten, innit? It's just, it's easy. I love cars. I love muscle cars, everything. But they are only pieces of metal. And I think that's what it's like. Yeah. Your life is your life. Sometimes, as Mr. Ferris Bueller used to say, Dave, sometimes you've just got to stop and take a minute. So I know I'm paraphrasing there, but you have to take and look around, don't you, sort of thing. And that's true. That's so true. I always try and do it when I go on holiday. When I went to Tenerife a few weeks ago, I always say to Sam and Jordan, soak this in, because we will be home before you know it, back in work. And lo and behold, we're 3 weeks down the line and I'm fucking back in work. And it's so true. I try and savour the moments that you don't usually get through your normal your normal day sort of things as I've got older. You've got to appreciate stuff. I love my material stuff. I love my technology, things like that. But something like this, it just does make you think and go, stop fucking fretting about stupid things. And talking, this is not to be morbid, but a guy who I know of, I've met him a couple of times, basically a few months ago. This is why this is quite apt doing this. He passed away today, and he was a marathon runner, everything. He was training for a marathon from nowhere, just went for a routine check, and they said, yeah, you've got, unfortunately got cancer in you, a lump in your back, and it had passed. And it's awful. 46 years old, 2 young kids who were like under 5 years old. Roy Keane went a few weeks ago and donated $5,000. They've raised about 30 to 40 grand for Macmillan, which is amazing. But they're the sort of things you live by that. And today, I know it sounds really daft because people were putting stuff up about him, and I didn't know him. I couldn't put anything on Facebook because I didn't know him enough. It would have just been I don't want to be jumping on the back of someone's grief because I don't know the guy properly. I just met him to say hello a couple of times. But every time something was going on today, Dave, and this sounds really silly, that was sort of getting me down or pissing me off, I was like, at least I'm still here, at least I've still got that, I've got another day on this planet, you know what I mean? And I think that's what this message is. I'm not trying to bring the podcast down or anything, but it's just, that's the message. You don't know when your time's up, and sometimes that time is precious, and we don't realise, do we? So anyway, this is Chris being rather serious, Dave. But yeah, I just thought it was quite apt, because it's quite a good way to sort of finish the day off for me today doing this.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, I'll go first. Didn't know what to expect. I honestly, first 5-10 minutes, exactly what you said, I honestly thought, oh my God, this is some TV fucking daytime movie crap, proper, straight to video stuff. It's not. It's a fantastic movie with some amazing acting and a lovely, lovely journey through America. It's only 240 miles. Like I say, it's shot in sequence. That is so, so good. I just think it's just a lovely movie. We've cooed over it all the way through, and I kept thinking, where the hell am I going to send it? I've got some amazing movies in Cloud City and all that, and I'm like, I've got to send it to Cloud City because there's just nothing wrong with it. It's a perfect feel-good movie, and it's aged so well. 23 years later, you could have told me this was shot last year, and I'd have believed you. There's nothing about this movie that made me think it was in 1999, 1998 when it was shot. So, yeah, it's a fantastic movie. And just for something completely different than what we do, I would recommend anybody go and watch it. So, what about yourself, Dave?
Oh, you've raised the bar there, haven't you? So, I think it was a fantastic movie as well. And it's one of those movies that you watch and it sticks with you for the next few days and weeks, and you're just thinking about it, and you're thinking about these moments of it and what it actually meant. It's not like a fast food movie, fucking kung fu 70s Hong Kong extravaganza that I love or something. It is a movie with real substance, and I wouldn't have guessed this was made by David Lynch, to be quite honest with you, but he's just done a fantastic job. The way I think the whole movie is paced, I think the way it's shot, I think it's fantastic. And Farnsworth's acting is just phenomenal, and you can see how much the director and Farnsworth bring that story to life. There's a lot of things going on here that just won't have been in the script, and in particular, that end bit with Lyle, his brother. You just think that scene is phenomenal, and it's packed with so much emotion, and yet in the script it says, Richard and Alvin and Lyle meet up, and Lyle realises what he's done, and they sit down and reconcile, kind of thing. And it's like, the way they deliver that scene was just fantastic. And like you say, all of these lives that he touches all the way through his journey. And it's the old adage as well about the journey being the more important thing than the destination. Yeah, I guess you could say that, the destination was pretty important, but going through that turmoil, in particular, like when the lorries are going past him, when the rain's beating down and blowing his hat off and stuff, and, it was a hard old journey there, so I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to put it into Pleasantville, just because it's not, I can't put it right up there, with my favourite ever movies, but I think that's more to do with personal preference. I do think this is a really, really great movie. I'm so glad Kent picked it. Guys, if you've listened all this way and you haven't watched it, it is not our usual sort of movie. It's, very much a human story, life story, and I would just say, go and watch it, go and seek it out.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely brilliant, Dave. Brilliant. And I'm the same as you. I can't say it's one of my favourite movies ever, but as a one-off standalone movie, it's fantastic. So I had to put it to the top. Right, so Dave, we have something completely different. This is another Patreon pick by Mr. Dylan Beecroft, and this is called Almost Famous, another movie I have never seen. So let's get into the trailer.
This is the music editor at Rolling Stone magazine. This is William Miller.
Yes, it is.
I think you should be writing for us.
From Cameron Crowe, writer-director of Jerry Maguire.
If you're going to be a true journalist, you cannot make friends with the rock stars.
Just make us look cool.
God, it's going to get ugly, man. They're going to buy you drinks.
Don't take drugs!
They're going to fly you places for free. It's Bowie! You're going to meet girls.
We are not groupies. We don't have intercourse with these guys.
Just blowjobs, and that's it.
Amen!
On the road with the band.
Your mom called!
Rock stars have kidnapped my son.
Spirits run high.
There's acid in the beer that's in the red cups.
How do you know when it's kicked in?
I am a golden god!
Innocence runs wild.
Let's deflower the kid.
We need this story in 4 days.
Your time has come.
And there's more to write home about.
Can I speak with William, please?
Is this Marianne with the pot?
Then the music.
What do you love about music? To begin with? Everything.
It's so easy to slip.
We're gonna die. Something should happen. Maybe I never said this enough. I love all of you. I slept with Martin today. I did too. Me too. I'm gay!
Don't you have any regular friends?
Famous people are just more interesting.
Right, guys, so if you want to support the podcast, get over to patreon.com/VHS Strikes Back. If you want to email us, the VHSstrikesback@gmail.com. And if you don't follow us on social media, at the VHS Strikes Back. So, Dave, amazing episode. I'm not going to throw you under the bus because I simply don't know what phrase you would do for this movie. It's not fair. It's just fantastic, my friend. And I just think we should just end it by saying, please watch this movie, guys. It's so nice.
Awesome. Thanks very much, mate. It's been great to talk about this one. Thanks to Kent for picking this as well. Thanks to all you guys out there for listening. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
It's so bad! It's so bad! It's so bad! Come on! Ain't so bad! Come on! You must be crazy or something! I'm crazy! You just so stupid! Yeah, maybe you're crazy! I ain't breathing heavy! He's a fool! He's stupid! I see you in 6 months!